Welcome to College Sport Check Football, presented by Long Island's Community Radio. Scores and schedule, but first the scores with the College Sport Check Football scoreboard. Here we go from the pair. We had Thursday and Friday, and then we also have the rundown of today's schedule. So we're going to get right into that right now. Thursday, LSU defeated Texas A&M 54-39. Some Friday scores. Washington defeats Washington State 45-17. Man, Washington State had a very rough night last night, and an upset alert. Iowa defeating number 16 Nebraska 40-10. Air Force defeats Boise State 27-20. Memphis over Houston 48-44. Western Michigan over Toledo 55-35. Battle for the Carolinas. North Carolina State defeating Carolina 28-21. Northern Illinois defeating Kent State 31-21. Missouri over Arkansas 28-24. Bowling Green over Buffalo 27-19. TCU defeating Texas 31-9, and Southern Miss defeating Louisiana Tech 39-24. Texas Tech over Baylor 54-35. Tulsa over Cincinnati 40-37, and finally Arizona defeating Arizona State 56-35. So here's a rundown of what's going on today, 12 o'clock. Of course, a bunch of games on the way as we speak. We've got Georgia Tech and Georgia on the SEC Network, Kentucky and Louisville on ESPN, Kansas and Kansas State on FS1, Rutgers and Maryland on ESPN News, Michigan and Ohio State on ABC, Purdue and Indiana, that is on ESPNU, Illinois and Northwestern on the Big Ten Network, Central Florida and South Florida on CBS Sports Network, Virginia and Virginia Tech on ESPN2, Arkansas State, Louisiana Lafayette, ESPN3, 12:30, Syracuse and Pittsburgh, ACC Network, and then we get some later on games, 3 o'clock, Boston College and Wake Forest on the ACC Network. All right, some more games for Saturday. 3:30, Duke and Miami on ESPN2, Florida International and Old Dominion on ESPN3, San Jose State, Fresno State, CBS Sports Network, Mississippi State and Ole Miss on the SEC Network, Auburn and Alabama on CBS. Of course, that's the big one everyone's waiting for. Notre Dame and USC on ABC, Navy and SMU on ESPNU, West Virginia, Iowa State, FS1, Michigan State and Penn State, ESPN, Minnesota and Wisconsin on the Big Ten Network, South Alabama and Idaho on ESPN3, and those are the 3:30 games. 11 games set for 3:30 this afternoon. 5 games for 5 o'clock. Troy and Texas State, ESPN3, Appalachian State, New Mexico State, ESPN3, Tulane, Connecticut on ESPN News, Oregon and Oregon State, Pac-12 Network, Nevada and UNLV, ESPN3. Then 7 o'clock, it's going to be UCLA and California, ESPN2. And then we get to 7:30. 4 games on tap for 7:30 tonight. Utah, Colorado on Fox. South Carolina and Clemson on ESPN. Tennessee and Vanderbilt on the SEC Network. East Carolina and Temple on ESPN News. At 8 o'clock, it's going to be Rice and Stanford on the Pac-12 Network. And another big one, Florida and Florida State. I'm pulling for the Gators. All right. That's an 8 o'clock game. And that's going to be on ABC. Then at 9 o'clock, we have Colorado State, San Diego State, CBS Sports Network. And then 2 games for 10:15. Wyoming and New Mexico on ESPN2, Utah State and BYU on ESPNU, and those, my friends, are the schedule for today. All right. So here's the rundown for the top 25. Of course, it's going to change after today, but first place, Alabama, Ohio State, second, third, Michigan, fourth, Clemson, Washington in fifth, sixth is Wisconsin, seventh, Penn State, Oklahoma, eighth, Colorado, ninth, 10th is Oklahoma State, Louisville is 11th, 12th is USC, Auburn in 13th, Florida State 14th, Florida 15th, Nebraska in 16th, 17th, Tennessee 18th, West Virginia 19th, Boise State 20th is Houston, Western Michigan 21st, 22nd, Utah, Washington State 23rd, Sanford 24th, and the Navy in 25th. All right. We'll be back here tomorrow morning with the scores, as we always do on Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. This is Manny Allegretta, and this is College Sport Check Football.